This is the Discover It. This is probably one of the most quintessential credit cards in anyone's arsenal. Either you've had it, or you know someone who's had it, or you've been out to dinner and you've seen it being used. It's kind of just like everywhere. In fact, I feel like it's so essential that it's pretty much like a starter Pokemon. You go meet Professor Oak and you can either choose a Charmander, Bulbasaur, or the Discover It. But by being so ubiquitous, I feel like we kind of overlook the card. The thing is, this was actually my very first credit card ever. In fact, taking a look down memory lane, I pulled up my handy dandy spreadsheets of all of the credit cards I've ever had. And you can see here that on August 1st, 2011, the summer going into my junior year of college, I applied for and got approved for the Discover It. Now back then, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I was gonna earn cash back, and I was gonna get a sign-up bonus, and I wasn't gonna have to pay any interest for 15 months. And that's actually how I hacked credit cards when I first got started. But now kind of looking back on the card, I feel like it gets overlooked in how much value we can actually extract from the card. And so in today's video, we're gonna go over a fan favorite, the Discover It, but more specifically, I'm gonna help you extract over $1,000 of cash back in the first year. Hey folks, welcome back. My name is John of John's Finance Tips. Now, you hear me talk about credit cards probably day and night, all the razzle dazzle of the premium cards, the premium benefits, but we very rarely talk about some of the beginner entry level cards. Well, today we finally are talking about the Discover It. It is really nostalgic thinking back on this card because literally when I hacked my way through college, part of it was I didn't work during the school year or not that much, but I worked during the summertime. And so I would get a credit card, I would charge off all my expenses, I would make minimum payments, paying no interest because there's a 0% promotional APR. In the summertime, I would work, pay it off, rinse and repeat. And the first two cards, as you can see earlier from that chart, were the Discover It and the Chase Freedoms that I started doing that. And then I kind of unlocked this whole world of credit card hacking. Well, we're not gonna go over my entire credit card history, but what I wanna do for you today is if you're just getting started or you're looking for kind of that next card or maybe a third card, potentially to Discover It would make sense for you. And I wanna help you be able to really maximize the value from this card because it's one that's just kind of everywhere. And I feel like we might overlook its earnings potential. So the video is largely gonna have two parts. In the first part, I'll provide you an overview of the Discover It. We'll talk about the sign-up bonus, the earnings, some of the benefits that it offers. And then the second part is how we can extract over $1,000 of cashback value in the first year from this no annual fee beginner credit card. If that sounds like a plan, you know the deal. Pop a squat, tap that little thumb icon, and if you'd like to support my channel in any way, you can feel free to check out my top affiliate offers in the description box down below. Sign-up bonus. The Discover It will actually match all the cash back you earn in the first year. That's gonna be huge when it comes to trying to pull in $1,000 of cash back later on in the video, but let's just put a pin in it. In addition, the card offers 0% APR for the first 15 months. This is probably one of the easier quote unquote credit card hacks for people to conceptualize, especially as you're getting into the credit card ecosystem. Basically what this means is for 15 months, there's not gonna be any interest charged. So if I think about it, okay, if I have a big purchase coming up and I wanna spread out payments, I don't wanna pay interest, boom. But know that at the end of the 15 months, it's just regular interest. And again, on this channel, you pay your credit card bill on time and in full, period. So it's not like you're gonna get a 0% loan and be like, oh, I'll figure it out. No. You better have the money or you better have a plan to have the money. And then you can use this to kind of spread out your payments. This is what I ended up doing in college. I would swipe my card, I would make the minimum payment, I would accrue 0 interest. And then in the summertime, I would work and pay off the entire thing before the promotional APR of 0% expired. Next up, we have earnings. This card will earn 5% cash back on categories that change every single quarter for up to $1,500 to spend in that particular category. And for this current period of July to September, the categories are gas stations and digital wallets, which is pretty interesting. So you load your Discover It into your Apple Pay or Google Pay or whatever, and you pay with that somewhere, you'll get 5% cash back, which is a lot more expansive than just a particular category call out. We don't know what the category is gonna be for Q4, but let me throw up a chart here of what it was in 2022. And you can see it was everything from grocery to gas station to Target to Amazon. So it's pretty broad coverage, and it usually is for spend categories that make sense for that time in the year. As I think about maybe what might come down the pipe for us this year, maybe we'll see an Amazon or Target bonus coming in for Q4. Now onto the benefits of the card. Being a beginner credit card, there's not a whole ton of bells and whistles, but there are a couple cool ones to call out. So the first one is the fact that this card has no foreign transaction fee. Yes, someone in the audience is probably gonna make a point that Discover isn't as widely accepted. However, if you're in a pinch, you're doing a study abroad and you don't have anything, you have a Discover card, know that that can at least be used abroad and you're not gonna pay any foreign transaction fee, unlike say a Chase Freedom. Yes, ask me how I know. Now, maybe you're not doing a whole ton of traveling, and I don't blame you. It's not exactly a travel card, and you're using the card more here domestically. You know, you're taking it out, paying for things, and maybe you're like, oh, the card design's kind of boring. Well, don't you worry, because Discover has you covered. The amount of card design options honestly seems limitless. I've never seen a credit card like this, and trust me, 19-year-old me getting the Discover thought it was the coolest thing ever, and honestly, it probably is still pretty cool. So you could have any of these popular card designs, or maybe if that's not your flavor, what about your favorite animal? I will say, as the dad to two adorable corgis, why are corgis not on the list? Come on, Discover, do better. And if that's not it, maybe you want to show some country pride, whatever it is, pick your flavor. You most likely have a card design that you can get. I don't know why I'm getting so excited about this. I think it's the nostalgia of it. I want to say I definitely picked a card that was black and I was like, wow, this is really cool. Anyway, you can pick your different card flavors, unlike some terrible credit cards that charge you to pick card design. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Credit One. The last thing I'll call out is with the Discover card, you can also get your free FICO score, which is super helpful. If you know me, you know I love credit cards. I open a lot of credit cards. I think this year I've opened 3 or 4 already. Each year I'll open anywhere from 8 to 10. And this is my credit score right now, a little bit over 810. But what's really cool is you kind of have the history of it. So you kind of can see, okay, how is my credit score tracking month over month? And it's also helpful that it's coming from FICO, not Vantage, the other scoring company, which isn't as widely used. Now onto the tomatoes of the video. How are we getting $1,000 of cash back from the no annual fee Discover It? Quite simply, it's gonna rely on your spend and leveraging their cash back match in the first year. So remember, this card gives you 5% cash back on rotating categories that change every 3 months. Effectively 10% cash back. And so this applies for up to $6,000 to spend every year, right? It's $1,500 for every individual category. So if you max that out, $6,000 times 5%, that's $300 in cash back you'll get. But remember, Discover is going to match that in the first year, so you get another $300 cash back on top of it. You're at $600, all right? Now, how do we get over the $1,000 mark? Well, for that, we turn to our trusty friends in the US government, specifically the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So turning to our friends there, we have this chart. This chart is data they gathered. They're looking at specifically what are households spending money on. And for the latest year in which they have data, it said that the average annual household expenditure in the US was $66,928. Okay, we have something to work with. And it's really nice that they broke out all the different categories that they're taking at. Now, of course, you can't use a credit card for every single category. So let's go ahead and pull out every category that I don't think most people are gonna be able to pull off a credit card spend on. And that's gonna be things like pensions and insurance, cash contributions, housing, although if you have a bill card, you can, but that's for another video. So let's just pull out all of housing, and then health insurance. So we add all of that up, and all of that spend is about $36,616. Then we'll go back to the average annual household expenditure, which is $66,928 minus $36,616, and we will get $30,366. That I think could be eligible to be put on a credit card. And assuming you earn 1% cash back on all of that spend, that's about $303. So we add the 303 to our 600, we're at $903. Remember, Discover is gonna match all of that cash back in the first year, so you get another $303 on top of that. You come in with a whopping total of $1,206 of cash back in the first year for having the Discover It. And we can contrast that with other credit cards that are giving, say, a $200 sign-up bonus after you spend $500. Now, of course, the big caveat is you're being cognizant in using your Discover card and maxing out every category. But I would say for the 5% categories, those are pretty easy because those are pretty common spends. I think the difficulty will be remembering and using your card for some of the categories that you might not think you could use a credit card. But regardless, I just want to say this is kind of a fun example to walk through of, okay, if we were to really try to hack a credit card, we don't even necessarily need to try to get these premium travel credit cards, get the thousands and thousands of dollars. We could just turn to what probably most of us either already have in our pocket or considering for a no annual fee card and really juice that out to get $1,000 of cash back plus back in our pocket. Now, I totally recognize I'm looking at this from a fairly high level, but I want to set the example that there's hacks everywhere in the card ecosystem. And I'd love for you all to comment down below, does this make sense? Is this something you would consider doing? Or what are some other lesser known hacks, let's say for cashback cards, that none of the travel folks might be talking about? And as always, folks, if you would like to support the channel, if you're interested in getting this card, which I personally would recommend, it's actually one of my top beginner cards for 2023, you can feel free to check out my affiliate link that's down here, and I will catch you all on the next video. Peace!